like in Massachusetts, where they cancel games every single weekend because they don't have referees. So if we want our kids to play, let's just not say anything to the officials. Okay? That's simple enough. Cool? Our rosters, and you'll see our roster sizes are a little small at the Pee Wee level, and we're proud of the fact that we have 4 teams, but we just didn't make 4 teams so we could have 4 teams. We did it, and we did our roster size very intentionally, where now it's very difficult for this group to be able to move up because you can't go from non-check to checking hockey. But there wouldn't be anything wrong with the players that earn it and deserve it to have an opportunity to practice with an older team, and that will happen. But this team will also see players from the A team coming up and playing games and practicing as well, because the players that earn that and deserve that from that group will be coming up. So right now we're at 13-2 with this group, which could easily go up a player or 2 every single game, and that's our intent to do that. Every coach is on board. This is something that I want to implement. But it has to be players that can compete at that level. Obviously, they're not coming in at the top end, but they have to be players that can compete and have shown on their team that they deserve an opportunity to play with the team higher up in the organization. Does that make sense? Okay, I told John I'd only take a few minutes, so that's all I'm going to take. But thank you to John and the other coaches that work extremely hard and are simply volunteers. And the last thing I would leave you with is we ask that you let the coaches coach the players and you guys be the parents. Cool, that's the fun part, being the parent. Let's not get in the car and coach the kids. Let's not coach the kids at home. Let the coaches coach the kids. If you have any questions, you can reach out to them, you can reach out to me, but let them coach the players and you guys be the parents. Cool? Does anybody have any, well, before the round of applause, thanks Pete for starting that. Does anybody have any questions for me? Like I said, I got 2 more of these tonight. No questions? I am that good when there's no questions. So, thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing everybody around the ring. Now you can clap.
So the only thing that I know that if I was a parent, I might ask a question about, I know that there are parents last year that asked when people came up. Some people might be wondering, is my kid getting less ice time if somebody comes up from the A team? The answer to that is most definitely not. In case you all haven't noticed, these kids are huffing and puffing about 10 minutes in already. And every practice I've run, whether there's 2 teams there or not. So we're always going to be working hard. No one's taking ice time from anyone here. The only way, and they know this, the only way anyone's ice time is really getting impacted is off-ice stuff, which we're going to cover some of that here today. Mike's exactly right. We're going to cover some things. You parents are incredibly important, and there are actually some things that I do need you to do. And one of those is not coaching your kids. So we will cover all that. For those who don't know me, I'm John Sunby. I've been playing hockey about 25 years of my life. I have not been alive for 25 years, a little bit more than that. Grew up playing for Littleton, Boo. Also played Regis Senior, my senior year there, played varsity. I've won a state championship, been to state championships and lost, been to varsity hockey playoffs. Originally went to school to be a high school English teacher and a history teacher and landed in banking, which is kind of boring. And this replaces that missing teaching aspect for me. Last year, got a President Silver Service Award that I didn't even know I was eligible for, strictly because of the amount of time that I volunteer here. This is the only volunteer activity I do in my life. So all 300 roughly hours you see were about an hour a day working with Saha kids. I've got 4 Kasaha players, one of them here, Jalen, the goalie. I've got Jackson Sunday on our 12UB black team, and I've also got 2 daughters that play in 8U. It's about all I got to say about myself. You'll figure a lot else about me along the way. Parents that have had me before know that I can be a bit extra, if you will. The coaches that have been with me before also know that I'm quite extra, but I think I have turned some of them into believers. So if any of y'all have questions, you can talk to Dean, he believes. So, I do have my own mission statement. I know Tigers has one, but for me it is to build and inspire a foundation for lifelong desire towards healthy, athletic, and mental lifestyle habits, foster effective teamwork skills, and develop a disciplined sense of fair play and integrity on and off the ice. We have several assistant coaches, a great coaching staff here. I know it may seem like we're about to run through a lot of folks, but you can never have enough assistant coaches. I know it seems like it's youth hockey, but being a head coach of a youth hockey team is basically like being the GM of a professional team anymore. So I can't do everything, I can't see everything. I have them looking for things that I'm not looking for. Everyone's got a role here. So I'm gonna give everyone a little bit of a chance to cover theirs. So with no further ado, Amanda, if you wanna cover yourself a little bit here.
Hi, I'm Amanda Bresch. I kind of consider myself the strength, conditioning, and mobility specialist for the team. So I'll be mostly running off-ice practices. So I'll warm the boys up before games. I will do yoga with them, probably 2 or 3 days a week. So get ready for that, guys. So I've got 3 kids, 2 of them are hockey players. Let's see, what else do I put on here? I'm a former competitive weightlifter, so that's kind of where my background comes from for what I do. I kind of dabble in CrossFit now. I've been known to break out my guitar at parties to make things more fun. So, but just know that like, my goals for the kids are to get them stronger, faster, more agile, more flexible, all those things. I will get to know their style over time, they will get to know my style over time, and we'll rock and roll. So some of my approaches are maybe a little unconventional. You might show up to Dryland and wonder why they're doing handstand holds, why hockey players might need to be standing on their hands. And just know that I always have reasons for what I'm doing. Always at least 3 reasons, and if you want to ask me about them, you can. I'm happy to explain what my thought process is. For handstand holds, it would be back and shoulder strength, plus all those stabilizing muscles. When your stabilizing muscles are stronger, then you're a more resilient athlete. It's good to have resilient athletes when we're playing hockey. They're more resistant to injury. And then that's the physical side. The mental side is that they literally, it's such a literal way to change your perspective. So they know nothing else in the world has changed, but suddenly everything looks different because they're upside down. And for some players that will be humbling, which is a good thing, and for some players that will be like exhilarating. Like some players will be very uncomfortable, some players will be super comfortable, and it'll be thrilling and exciting, and both of those are good things. So any questions or concerns about your kid, you can always come to me. Any injuries I should know about, any like limitations, let me know. But I'm really excited about this season. Really excited about this group of kiddos. Thanks.
Hey Amanda, can we do a parent come to Dryland Day and work out?
Would love that. Yes, absolutely.
You see me while you're doing presents. You will regret saying that after you go through one of our dry lanes.
Only if you're not in charge of it, Kevin.
One other coach that we have that's actually not here tonight is going to be Coach Jack Clements. I feel very honored to even have a luxury like this. So Jack is actually the younger gentleman that you saw at our Tuesday practice with the blue helmet and the gloves. Jack grew up in Rhode Island, basically taught his 2 brothers and 2 foster sisters how to play hockey. He's a cadet at U.S. Air Force Academy right now, working on being a pilot. He's a junior. One of our other Tigers families actually sponsors him and mentioned the opportunity to help with coaching. I'm kind of taking him under my wing this year. He is eating it up, loves doing it. I've already been asked to eject myself from doing examples. I've been told Jack should do examples by these ones, which is exactly the point, and I'm glad they called me out. He played junior hockey for 5 years, had a couple state championships. He did receive All-State and Hobie Baker High School Award, so not the college award, but a high school service award that's out there. Once again, couldn't be more happy to have somebody like that is more in between them and me age-wise. I don't have to throw myself around quite as much as I usually do on the ice, so it's good for all of us. So that is going to be Jack pretty much Tuesday, Thursday nights, because he does still play with the U.S. Air Force club team. So Monday, Wednesday he practices We may do some team building events where maybe we go watch Coach Jack play for some home games, stuff like that. So all around, I just see benefit after benefit to it. For anyone wondering, he has gone through all of the same stuff that all of us coaches have to do before we ever step foot on the ice, safe score, background check, the whole 9 yards. I've made him fully aware, and just so everyone else is aware, since we're parents and Jack is not, I've just asked him to kind of mind himself, like he'll stay outside the locker room. Players, don't try and drag Jack into the locker room, or especially one player dragging Jack in the locker room or anything like that. We're just gonna be smart, right? Just like I'm not in the locker room with one of you at a time, Coach Jack isn't when they're one-on-one, Coach Trevor isn't one-on-one, Weiner, it's always 2 coaches, all right, at any time. Got it? Perfect. So I'm gonna turn it over to Trevor to give his little spiel.
Hi, I'm Trevor Soik. I've met a lot of you. I've known a bunch of you for a long time. I'm AJ's dad, Anderson. I've got another older son, Noah. He's 16. He's a junior at Cheyenne Mountain now. He played all the way up through his freshman year. This is our 3rd organization in town, not because we like to hop, but because we just always wanted to find the right home for our kids. And this organization has given AJ really a chance to thrive from where we were last time. If you want to talk more details, I'm happy to do so over a drink at one of our tournaments. When I came to this organization, John will tell you, I tried real hard to not be involved. I wanted to be just a dad in the bleachers, kind of sitting off on my own, because that's kind of what I wanted to do, take a break. I'll let you read this, and maybe John will throw it out, but I've been involved with some of those other organizations in a lot of different ways. He dragged me in. He found out I was a coach and able to kind of help a little bit. My history is not in hockey. Like Amanda, I grew up wrestling and running across country and track, so I'm a distance guy. And picked up this hockey thing when my kids did. And I thought it wasn't fair for me to chirp at them in the bleachers if I hadn't tried it myself. And I'll tell you, the first beer league game I went into, when I was yelling at them to skate harder, I realized I'm a moron, and I knew why they weren't skating harder. Because once and twice up down the ice, you're done, right? You're cooked. So it gave me that perspective insight. I kind of gave up on playing when some of those young guns came in and wanted to be aggressive all the time. But really, at the end of the day, like John, I've got my degree in education. I was a teacher in the elementary school level for 3 years before I got into a sales career. And this helps fill that. More than anything, I just want to make your young men here become good men as they grow up. And that's really my focus, is just making the right choices, not just on the ice, but on and off the ice, how to respect each other and work as a team, how to respect those people that we're going up against, right? Most of these kids, some of them, I hope they all make the NHL. But realistically, we all know they're going to go into other pursuits in life, and I want them to be successful in all those things they do. So that's why I'm here. Feel free to reach out anytime.
Dino.
My name is Dean Venezia. I know most of you. Still need to meet a couple parents. I just want to make it clear, I was not brought on board to demonstrate skating drills. My strength is rounding up pucks and moving nets. If you guys watch practice. I've got Johnny, the goalkeeper. I've got an older kid that's a Bantam AA, and my older one was a goalie for a while and ended up skating out, and Johnny was a goalie from Mini Mites and never looked back. So through the years, I have sat through many goalie practices and managed to pick up a few things here and there about goalies. And so John asked me to kind of help out, rounding up pucks, moving nets, and kind of helping the goalies out, positioning and things like that. So I believe that these kids need to work hard, but I think they can have a lot of fun at the same time. And so I hope this season's a lot of fun and drama-free, and these kids grow a bunch this year. So all you guys are gonna work hard and have fun, right? Yes. Oh, yes. Thanks, everybody.
And last but not least, just alphabetically, we're last here. Weiner, if you want to go over.
Sure. Over here, so forgive me. So my name's Kevin Weiner. I know most of y'all. Similar story. I grew up playing soccer, football, and running track. Got sucked in when Pat Kelleher if you don't know, he's the executive director of USA Hockey, basically pulled me off the bench and said, "You look like you're athletic, you should coach." I said, "Sure, why not?" But I played D1 soccer, also played semi-professional indoor soccer, as well as outdoor. And so indoor, we actually have the same number of players on the field as hockey, so it actually looked pretty fun to me, and the tactics were pretty similar. But more than anything, still compete and still play. Similar to Trevor, I decided if I was going to skate, I needed to learn, and learning how to skate with chasing 8U mites around is a good way to get your skills up. But I've been doing this for about 8 years now. I've had the luxury and privilege to, coach with Joe Bonnet, under Pat, and now John, and lots of guys in the organization. So the best coaches, we all try to steal from each other and take what we learn from each of those and bring it to the new team each year. Try to keep this shorter. But yeah, still compete athletically, and so one of my big things is just kind of working with athletes of all ages and just trying to encourage that whole body development. So when they get older and they can still compete and go have fun. I'm also a volunteer wildland firefighter for the utilities. Currently getting ready to move over to the Southco wildland group here in southern Colorado Springs. Environmental specialist for Colorado Springs Utilities, kind of work with all of them. I also coach U18 soccer, trying to get guys into college, and I coach soccer in the spring when hockey ends. So John had 300 hours. I think I was up to about 800 last year between all of them. But more than like everyone else here, it's my favorite time of the day, whether I'm with the boys and girls, if we have any. We don't have any on this team, but being out there and playing with them. So I'm looking forward to it and excited. So thank you.
Coach.
All right. So we started early. We're really only 8 minutes into this thing, so we're doing good actually. I know it
Wait,
feels
what?
like a lot.
Wait, what?
It's still
Yeah, yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
You
The
serious?
meeting was supposed to start at 7:30, so I'm not counting the first 15.
So,
So, real quick, I'm gonna kind of cruise through the housekeeping, but I'm not gonna cruise through it. There are certain things that parents you really need to listen up to here. You don't want me to pull out this deck later and say, "I told you," okay? Players, same thing. Don't make me pull this out and say, "I told you," okay? So let's pay attention here. Some of these are gonna be really fun things to hear about. Some of these are gonna be like, "Oh," okay? So let's just prepare ourselves, and we're gonna get going here. So, we're gonna start off a little bit of housekeeping. So team manager, Laura Soik, all right, that's Trevor's wife. There are gonna be several moms helping her, and I already know everyone is not looking at everything about Laura Soik, and I want them to look at everything about Laura Soik right there first. Thank you. Next, tournaments. We did vote on tournaments. Silver Stick, we had signed up from the get-go automatically. That's our first tournament. That is one of our 3 non-Saha. So, we had an overwhelming vote that everyone wanted to travel. Everyone was willing to travel twice. Overwhelming majority is willing to even fly twice. There were a few that would like to be able to drive once. Keeping all of those things in mind, as well as the fact that youth hockey is already expensive, but I also recognize that several of these kids may only go on and play high school after this. So there are several things I'm balancing here to make sure that we are all kind of in a middle ground here. So if there's any concerns, you're more than welcome to talk to your team manager about that. But in theory, going to a tournament over Thanksgiving and flying becomes very expensive. Veterans Day, not as expensive to fly. So, Gopher State Outdoor Cup, already confirmed, good bracket. We're playing one team from Canada, one from Minnesota. They're probably not gonna let us play their AA bracket because AA up there is AAA. So we will be playing an A tournament, but keep in mind, it's teams from Canada, teams from Minnesota. When we go to tournaments, I wanna make it very clear. We go to tournaments to learn. Okay, last year, for those of you who don't know, yes, my team went to states, yes, my team went to divisions, all that. A big reason why my team did that was because we kind of went in hiding. I firmly believe that, all right? Playing the same Colorado teams over and over and over and over again, especially at AA, when there's even less teams in Colorado at AA, it gets old quick. I mean, it's like being in that adult league where there's only 4 teams, and by the end of the season, nobody's friends anymore. Okay, so that's the first tournament. There is an outdoor arena. It is covered, so it's protected from the elements. It's actually connected to a 3-sheet facility. Real nice, gonna be real fun. We're guaranteed at least 1 game outside, maybe more. Really pumped. I think it's gonna be a very exciting tournament, but I want people to be realistic about it, all right? Last year, I had a B team. We played 2 A tournaments on purpose. We did not have to do that for Basaha, but we did. And we got pushed around a lot. And it was okay because I went in knowing I'd much rather lose a game 8-2 than win every game 15-1 like we did in the Salutes Veterans Tournament. So I want people to be realistic about it. We are certainly going to compete. I am not going up to lose these tournaments. Anybody that knows me, I hate to lose. I hate to lose. But I still love the game. So we are playing to win. We are playing to compete. I'm going to hold this team to a very high standard, and Mike is going to hold me to an even higher standard. So one thing we're going to talk about as we progress here, you all are going to be getting some homework, not enough to overwhelm your schoolwork, but we're going to have to turn on these this year. We will have set face-offs this year for everywhere on the ice. We'll have at least 2 face-offs. And some of you all might get to the point, if we get enough hockey IQ maturity, to where you all get to start calling those face-offs and have to react to the situation out there. So we're going to be playing some real hockey. Unfortunately, some of you all didn't get to learn this stuff ahead of time, so we're going to have to make up some ground. But this is going to be the way Tigers play hockey from here on out. There's going to be the 10 rules of 10U. I've already talked to Mike about this. We're going to get some things on paper, so even at 10U gets like the diet version of what you all are going to get. You all are going to get the crash course. We're going to be learning fast and hard this year, okay? So we're playing real hockey. We got Colorado Cup. The next one, which we had last year, took a team to Vegas. About half the team drove, half the team flew. Again, if we have material concerns, Laura Soik, Trevor's wife, is your place to go. I am focused on putting the best quality hockey product on the ice. So as you'll see as we go through here, I may sometimes tell you not to come directly to me, and there's a reason for that because, again, my focus is putting the best quality product on ice. Obviously, I will hear things if we need to talk, but I have lots of assistants for a reason. They can help troubleshoot minor things. If something gets major enough, I will be there to troubleshoot it, trust me. I have no problem talking to Safe Sport, talking to Nisha, talking to Mike, any of that stuff, all right? I run a pretty tight ship. I've had people that have had to be disciplined before. It just is what it is. Team events are critical to me. Those that know, we had a movie night last year. We had multiple parties at the Soik's house, all that stuff. So we're getting on even earlier before a Silver Sticks tournament. So next week is going to be kind of our first movie night. Saturday was the overwhelming vote. We only had 1 person that said they couldn't make it on the 9th, so we're sticking with the 10th. We'll kind of firm up the exact timing. Probably going to be a little bit of a air hockey tournament, get all the energy, and then we're going to do team movie night. I'll let you all know the movie. I showed it last year. We may change it up. Since most of them haven't seen it, we're probably still going to do it. It is appropriate. Not watching Goon or anything like that. Okay? So, it is very important to do this stuff. Team building stuff is incredibly important to me. Now, parents, it's time for you to listen up. Players, just know that your parents are held to these rules, okay? So it's very important that you know these rules, so when your parents break them, guess who you can come tell? Me, okay? So, like I said, please direct off-ice, travel-related inquiries to Laura and Trevor. Dryland, practice, game-related inquiries to Amanda, Trevor, and Kevin. If you have a problem with one of the goalies, probably talk to Coach Dean since he's the goalie coach. Considering I'm the only other goalie dad here, if I have a problem with goaltending, I think me and Dean will just talk, okay? If anyone has a problem with the goalies are our last line of defense, and if you really want to talk to me about it, there's probably about 5 other people that messed something up before it got to the goalie every time.
Okay, Coach.
Got it. Perfect. Coming up in these slides, we're going to talk about our 4 Ds a lot. A lot of people have had me before and know about the 3 Ds. This year we got 4 of them, okay? Parents, you just need to know that those 4 Ds you are equally accountable for, that the players are accountable for, very much so. Especially anyone disparaging fellow teammates, they're kids. They're kids. They're 12 and under. Every single one of them is going to mess something up every single game. I don't need Pete, I'm going to pick on you all night because you're the vice president. I don't need Pete going, God, that Brush kid just can't do anything up there. I don't need Pete saying, whoever that new Colin Kirk kid is, he just can't seem to get it together. That, no. I don't need any parents doing any of that, any guardians, anybody showing up. You bring your buddies from work and you went to the happy hour before you came to the game. I had parents do that last year and they thought they were in an Avalanche game. You are not in an Avs game. I think Mike told you that kind of stuff is penalties, and that's impacting me on the other side when I got enough variables to deal with. So I expect the parents to bring their 4Ds and act appropriately. Now, can we cheer on our Tigers? Heck yeah. I want us to be loud. Cheer them on. All right? But we don't need to be beating each other down. They're going to make enough mistakes. My practices are hard enough. The coaches know as well. We're not berating them. We're not screaming at them. I'm a very tough, demanding coach, but I'm also a very loving and empathetic coach. Because if you're not both, nothing gets done. You're either a jerk or it's a free-for-all. So it has to be both. It has to be both. And it's the same with you guys. You can't take it too serious, and you can't have it be a free-for-all. You've got to find that middle ground to be successful. It's got to be fun and demanding. Okay? So, parents, no spectator parent coaching. Remember your 3rd and 4th Ds. You'll know what those are in a second. If you have thoughts on things you're seeing on the ice, rule number 1, there's some people you can talk to. If it's serious enough, you can talk to me. Now what you can do is know your role, because it's very important. Managing these kids' perspective at their age is more important than anything else. They're at the age where we all know we're all going through changes. And if we can't figure out how to handle all those changes in life now and use our minds now, when we encounter those things at 14, when we start going to high school and we start, our friends start deviating in different ways, it's a lot easier to make the right decisions if we have a strong mental foundation now and not just figured out on the fly later. That's your job. They're not little babies anymore, right? We're not Cruz's little brother able to carry them around anymore. You're not picking them up every time they cry anymore. What you can pick up is their mindset. You can help change their perspective. That is your job. Okay? You need to learn their goals, check in on their progress, and tell them to go get it. Tell them how much you love them, watch them play, and support the athlete's pyramid, which we're going to talk about next. Now, parents, you're off the hook. Players, now you're up. Talk about a little bit of this, okay? What does it mean to be AA? You haven't made it yet. Not at all. Like I talked about, we're not fast enough, strong enough, we're not shooting hard enough, we're not passing well enough. We've got plenty to improve upon. You guys are not 100% done with your hockey journey. We're like maybe 15, 20, maybe 25% there on how good you guys can be. Okay? So we are not there yet. You cannot think, oh, I made the AA team.